go insane. Crumbling towers, streets in flames, forgotten heroes, who knows their names? Broken futures, shattered dreams.
Hello friends, this is Sam Cheney reporting for Weaponized News. Today is May 23rd, 2025. Thank you for joining us on this Friday edition of Weaponized News. It's been a long week. We have Ruckus on the line for us, so I'm not going to take too long with the introduction here, and we may have another guest joining us, hopefully, to talk about New California. We'll see. Barry, I emailed him again. We still have not heard from Barry. People are concerned. I'm getting kind of concerned as well. So we'll keep trying to contact Barry. I did not call him because I said I was going to call him, but I didn't have time last night to find his phone number, which is in an email. But we've emailed each other quite a bit, so we have quite a bit of correspondence that way, and that's usually how we communicate, is through the email. But I know he did send me his phone number at one time in the email, so I got to go through that when I have more time and actually call him. But I have put out now 3 or 4 emails and still no word from Barry, so we're wondering what happened to him, man. Okay, the Rumble's not integrated. I don't know what, they keep having bugs, updates, whatever. Hello Chloe, thank you for tuning in on Rumble. I see you there, but the chat for Rumble's not integrated today, and so apologies for that. But it was giving me an error message, so I was like, we're going on Rumble, but we're just not going to have full features. Okay, let's get to the news here quickly, so we don't leave Ruckus hanging on the line. If our other guest joins us, I'll have three guys talking. So got to give everybody some time to get it all out. We got the comings and goings of the White House Trump administration today. Federal judges are blocking a lot of their moves. Federal judge blocks Trump administration from barring foreign student enrollment at Harvard. And then another ruling, federal judge blocks DOGE plans for mass firings of federal workers. It's maybe a blessing in disguise backhandedly, and we don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? DOGE taking over more U.S. government data. Very concerning there, but hell, I trust Musk, and the richest man in the world, transhumanist. Yeah, why not? You know what I mean? What else do we got? Big U.S. steel merger today. We got that to go over as we wrap up this week. We got J.D. Vance giving the commencement speech at the Navy graduation, saying that the era of uncontested U.S. dominance is over. So in one way, it's like conceding that, yes, Russia and China are getting stronger, making way in a new era for a multipolar world, as we continue to report here at Weaponized News, but then also reason to build up the military even more, because we have to meet this challenge. Orgy of Corruption, Democrats rip Trump ahead of meme coin dinner. They call it an orgy of corruption, as we continue to point out here at Weaponized News. What else? We got the California. Looks like our man is on the line there from New California. And so we're going to go over New California for you. Newsom suing, or the state of California, under Newsom's leadership, suing the Trump administration for, like, I forget even what it is, the 20-something time, but this time about a resolution that is going to stop Newsom's gas-powered car ban. And so they're going to go ahead and sue him because Trump wants to make us breathe polluted air, according to Newsom. So all that to go over, and New California. A little bit of geopolitical news. It looks like we may have a peace deal developing here. Things are going forward between Russia and Ukraine. Good news. They had a big prisoner exchange, POW exchange today, and other developments there. The draft, Russia has forwarded a draft memorandum of the peace deal to Ukraine. And so things are moving forward. They're in a positive direction. And then we have AI news. We have this incredible video from Google VO3. It's well, you got to watch it to believe it. It's all AI 100%, but you wouldn't know it if you didn't know it was AI. If I didn't tell you, if I didn't know it, you'd think whatever. It's just you know, a regular video of real people in it, very high production value. So we'll go over all that. Cyber wars, go over that a little bit. And then, of course, Aardvark genocide continues. Looks like a lot of Europe is starting to turn on Aardvark land. They just can't stomach the face of starving women and children to death, which is essentially what the blockade on food, water, and medicine and energy is doing here now, with a little bit of supplies getting through, but not nearly enough. Okay, let me blast through this day in history quickly as we have our two gentlemen waiting. Quickly here, on this day of May 23rd in 1785, Benjamin Franklin invents the bifocals. In 1934, Bonnie and Clyde were killed by police in Louisiana, famous bank robbers there in America. In 1945, Nazi Germany formally dissolves on this day. And in 1957, for our civil rights, on this day in 1957, Cleveland police raid Doré Mapp's house. Case leads to exclusionary rule. The Cleveland, Ohio police sought to enter the home of Doré Mapp on this day, suspecting she had equipment related to bombing and gambling. She turned them away, and they returned 3 hours later with an alleged, quote, warrant to search her home. The police found nothing related to bombing or gambling, but instead arrested her for possession of a suitcase filled with pornographic materials. She was convicted of possessing pornography. Her appeal resulted in a landmark Supreme Court decision, Mapp v. Ohio, decided on June 19, 1961, which overturned her conviction and established the exclusionary rule for local and state police. In this case, no warrant was ever found, and many people suspected that the police never obtained one. The exclusionary rule holds that the evidence obtained through an illegal search is a violation of the Fourth Amendment and cannot be used at trial against the defendant. The decision became one of the most controversial decisions issued by the Warren Court. The Supreme Court had many decades earlier established the exclusionary rule in federal criminal cases in Weeks versus the United States. That was decided on February 24, 1914, but this applied to local and state police. Interestingly, as Mapp's appeal went through the state court appeals and then the Supreme Court, the primary focus was on the constitutionality of the Ohio obscenity statute. The ACLU amicus brief before the Supreme Court raised the issue of the unconstitutional search and seizure, and that became the basis for the landmark Supreme Court decision. At the Supreme Court, one of the Justice Earl Warren's law clerks wrote a memo arguing that the briefs of the party in this case are among the worst I've ever seen. Happily, however, the amicus brief of the ACLU and Justice Taft's opinion in the court below tend to bring the major issues into focus. So a link to that will be on Weaponized News Substack if you didn't know. Almost everything we talk about is in the sources section on Weaponized News Substack for further research. for you if you're interested in any of this. So that is a big day for our constitutional rights, even though it came about due to bizarre circumstances, to say the least. They do need to list specifically what they're searching for in their search warrant, or it doesn't count. You can't be prosecuted. If they find whatever is deemed illegal and it's not on a search warrant, they can't come after you and charge you with it. It'll get thrown out according to this Supreme Court ruling. Okay, moving on. So we just said in 1945, Nazi Germany formally dissolves, and everybody hates Hitler. He's the most evil man ever besides Putin. But then comes in 1958, Mao Zedong. He says, hold my beer, Hitler. He starts the Great Leap Forward movement in China and kills somewhere between 23 and 55 million Chinese. I know the 6 million are the only thing that's important in this world, but they did kill a lot of Chinese there. And you don't hear Chinese crying about it all day till the end of time. Thank you, Mao Zedong and the Great Leap Forward. And I think that's all we got. So we cut this day in history short. All right, here's our segue to our guests. I had two different segues. We'll play this one to wrap up the week at the White House. They're calling it MAGA Minute. And so here's propaganda right from your federal government. Don't you just love it?
Hey everybody, happy Friday. It was another very busy week here at the White House with President Trump. Let's go through it for the MAGA Minute. This week, President Trump visited Capitol Hill to bring the historic One Big Beautiful Bill over the finish line. This bill is going to put more money back in your pockets. It's going to keep your communities safe, deliver the largest middle-class tax cut in American history, fund deportations and the completion of the border wall, and it's going to kick 1.4 million illegal aliens off of your taxpayer-funded benefits. Also on the legislative front, the president signed the First Lady's sponsored Take It Down Act, ensuring protections for young people who are targets of malicious deepfakes and personal attacks on social media. President Trump also attended the Make America Healthy Again Commission's release of its landmark report, which exposes key factors contributing to childhood chronic diseases and points to a path forward to make our children healthy again. The president hosted the White House's annual Take Our Sons and Daughters to Work Day celebration. President Trump also announced an implementation plan for the Golden Dome to protect our nation from wide-ranging global missile threats. He also hosted the South African president at the White House and signed executive orders to start a nuclear renaissance in the United States. The president also hosted a law enforcement event in the Oval Office and awarded the first ever Medals of Sacrifice to 3 heroic police officers. And finally, gas prices have dropped this Memorial Day to their lowest price in more than 20 years. You're welcome, America. Wishing you a blessed Memorial Day weekend, and we will see you for next week's MAGA Minute.
MAGA Minute, taxpayer-funded propaganda. We love it. Okay, let's bring on Ruckus here first. Back from his long, hard-working day. How you doing today, Ruckus, on this Friday?
I'm good. You know what? I was feeling fine. I thought I was going to make it until I saw the MAGA Minute. Now I'm suddenly feeling all flush again. I might have to bail early. No, I'm just kidding. That is a bit of it's disingenuous for them to say things like, we're responsible for lowering gas prices. You're welcome, America. That's egregious. Anyone can do a little research and learn very quickly that the president and the current administration doesn't control things like that. But anyways, I am happy to be here, Sam. Thanks for having me back.
I had federal agents pumping my gas.
It doesn't affect me at all because I don't have a car. I don't need gas, so I could care less if it's expensive.
So you're protesting for climate change, not having a car then?
That's right. I do it because I want to reduce my carbon footprint. No, I save a lot of money that way. But it does affect me. I was just kidding because that affects the cost of everything because the food that comes to the grocery store, for instance, it costs gas to bring it here. So I am at least happy that the gas prices are lower. I'm very skeptical that Trump or that lady had anything to do with it.
Here's our next guest. Let's bring him on, Light Stalker. How you doing, Light Stalker?
How you guys doing?
Happy Friday. We got to warn you because I didn't get a chance to tell you about the censorship. We're on YouTube, so you can't say the J word, the I word, if you know what I mean. We call it, just say aardvark if you want to say it.
All right.
Aardvark land, and we don't say the V word like this, right? The V word, we don't say that.
Yep.
We just call it a miracle. And if you want to say just call it the bat for that last 5 years about that disease, the bat disease. And I think we should be okay there.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So you're here to talk to us. We'll get to that section about New California. So we'll get to that section, but let's get through some of this news first. Where do we start here? Well, let's play another clip. We had yesterday I went over the Maha report, and they did cover a lot of issues, but they didn't talk about the miracle being the key driver behind the chronic disease epidemic for children in America. They kind of pushed that over to the side, and a lot of Maha noticed and are not very happy on the interwebs, I've been noticing. But all those issues, but the main one, they just can't seem to bring themselves to be that critical of miracles here now. So we're gearing up, or the Washington, D.C. and the federal government is gearing up for the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army, which coincides with Trump's birthday on June 14th there in Washington, D.C. You can put in a RSVP right now. You may be called an insurrectionist and be hunted down to the end of the earth and thrown in prison. The last time Trump had a big rally, J6 there in D.C., everybody went to prison. So keep that in mind before you get all fired up to go to his next big rally, the U.S. Army Grand Military Parade in D.C.
So wait, Sam, the U.S. Army is older than the entire country? I hadn't, by about a month. I had no idea.
250 years. That's what they say. Yeah, by about a month. So yeah, I guess they formed up first.
That's pretty smart thinking. I mean, don't declare independence from a powerful country like England unless you got an army to back that up, right?
And to celebrate that prematurely here, there's a report about a group of at least 18 Army Rangers apparently went rogue when they opened fire at a crowded Florida beach last Friday. I don't know if you guys saw this. Luckily, they were firing blank rounds, but they were wearing military fatigue, had Army Ranger T-shirts. They were in 2 rowboats off of Crab Island. And yeah, pretty crazy.
Sounds like the feds to me.
It scared the hell out of people. They thought it was a real shooting, but thankfully they were shooting blanks. Here's some still images from the report about it on Daily Mail. So these guys were shooting blanks and scared the hell out of people on the beach, essentially. And now they're under investigation. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
You know, it's what they have these places called military surplus stores where anybody can go in and buy gear and put it on and, you know, steal valor.
You're a former, you served in military and you're former law enforcement as well, correct?
Yes, I did 13 years U.S. Army, 4 active duty, 9 federal technician out of Camp Roberts, California. I did 7 years in the Department of Corrections. Yes.
So you got hardcore mind control, brainwashing from the military, right?
Yeah, kill. Yeah, grass bleeds blood. You know, yeah.
All right. So
you know, I saw some footage of similar to what you mentioned there. You can pick up these uniforms anywhere at these surplus stores. I think it was in New York. They were terrorizing bodegas, but people would pile into these cars and jump out, and they were dressed like cops. They would go into the shops and harass and rob people. And I'm like, whoa, this is crazy.
Yep.
That is crazy.
We see it time with some of our politicians, right? I mean, that's what Walt's got and called out for was stolen valor, and saying, he was this and that, and deployed here and deployed there. And I believe 90% of our politicians that ever said they were in the service, they're probably complicit of that.
A bunch of them lie about it, yeah, and then they get called out, and they're just like, whatever, dude. And it's like, man, you guys are garbage.
Right.
I played Call of Duty once. It's all right.
Federal judge blocks Trump administration from barring foreign student enrollment at Harvard. So all the moves, executive orders, and edicts that Trump administration lays out are all challenged by and being blocked by federal judges around the country. This is another one. And
that was specific to Aardvark, though, right?
No, they were blocking because they're having a big falling out with Harvard right now, because Harvard doesn't want to fall in line with the Trump administration, and so they're blocking enrollment of foreign students.
They didn't have to do with.
It has to do with that as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Anti-Semitism claims.
Right.
The watermelon people were causing a ruckus during their peaceful protests, apparently. I got into it with Reuters and Grok in a back and forth on Twitter about this today because I was curious. I'm like, okay, so hold on a second, because the reporting is that Trump is just rug pulling all the visas for the foreign students exclusively at Harvard. And I'm like thinking, well, does this mean all foreign students? Because last time I checked, Aardvark land, for instance, is a foreign country. So rules for thee, but not for me, is that going to come into play? And then I was thinking about it, and I did some quick research. It turns out there's a lot of, let's just say, dual foreign citizenry staff members there. Is there any concern there? I mean, so I was like, this isn't really fair. How does this look to the rest of the world? How does this make the Trump administration look? I mean, if you're going to do this, you might as well just rug pull every single foreign student's visas across the board at all university to avoid any controversy. But I don't recommend he does that, of course. I mean, this is America. We want to draw talented people here who want to, achieve the American dream the right way, not the stolen valor way, which is what we saw under the previous administration, so to speak.
Right.
I'm xenophobic. I hate all foreigners. Okay. Judge blocks Trump DOGE plans. This may be good, actually, backhandedly. Judge blocks DOGE plans for mass firing of federal workers. So we got our choice here. We got corrupt federal bureaucrats or AI, which you can't even bribe, right? So at least you could bribe the corrupt federal bureaucrats, maybe, possibly. But the AI, you're not bribing it. It's programmed to do a job, and it's not going to change. Only the programmer can change it, and we don't have access to the back-end admin control panel of the AI, like Palantir, for example. So this may be backhandedly. We have to still pay and deal with corrupt federal bureaucrats, but they're not fully being replaced by the AI Palantir kill system just yet. What do you guys think of this?
It's interesting because I just saw a movie, and we know what Hollywood, how they project soft disclosure in their movies, and I just saw a dystopian movie, post-apocalyptic, and it had everything to do with Palantir. It just happened to be in that movie, and the AI system's taken over, drones everywhere, surveillance. The whole AI digital convergence has already taken place. It's always interesting how they project it out in the movies, and it's really playing out in real life. So,
Or optimistically, it's a warning from the movie makers, the storytellers, and of course, sadly, the vast majority of people just choose to ignore it. Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Or embrace
what would you rather
with
have?
Open arms.
What would you rather have? This specific case was about firing more than 100,000 federal employees. So what would you rather have? A corrupt federal bureaucrat or AI running the government?
Abolish the government. We don't have to have either.
Good answer. What about you, Ruckus?
I was going to say, why do we have to choose?
Right. You said the nice way. I just said it the hard way. Yeah.
Let me repost here real quick on the X. They've been messing with X all for a couple days here now. It's all kind of messed up.
Yeah, the direct messages were down for a while yesterday. The servers got hit, I guess, but whatever. I'm sure the blue check mark people were just fine. Well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I agree.
I have a blue check mark and I was not fine, so that was incorrect.
Well, but how high are you on the tier though? You know,
that's what I meant. Yeah, I meant like the people with the millions of views. I'm sure they were still able to receive their prawn bot messages and all that fun stuff.
I'm sure truther Andrew Tate, you know, is as truthful as he is and authentic and genuine. Yeah, I'm sure he was just fine.
There was a major merger today. U.S. Steel merged with this Japanese company, Nippon, and Nippon Steel. And so I guess we're now partners with Japan Steel. Maybe someday they'll remember that we nuked them back in World War II and maybe want to take out revenge. I don't know. Just saying that would always be in the back of my mind if I was Japanese. Like, I don't trust these damn Americans, you know. But allegedly, according to the White House, that we know hypes everything to the end of the earth, they claim that this is going to create 70,000 new U.S. Steel jobs and add $14 billion to the U.S. economy. Big claims. I don't know, but we are merging now U.S. Steel with this Japanese.
But is that work coming to the United States or is it going to Japan?
That's what they claim. Investment in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And my question, of course, knowing what I know about the steel industry and other manufacturing industries, what percentage of this money, this work, these jobs are going to humans and not to actual robots? So at the end of the day, granted, it might be an American company like a Boston Dynamics who has all of the machines that are winning the contract and doing all the work. And that's good for Boston Dynamics. But again, that's not good for the blue collar worker now, is it at all? No.
Somebody needs to ask Trump that to reconcile. Okay, we're going back to 1950s America with your factories, but we're not 1950s America, and they're already rolling out the humanoid robots that can do many of these low-level tasks at a factory, like sitting on the production line, putting the widget in every other widget. You know what I mean? And so that we've already innovated past needing human labor to fulfill these rudimentary functions. And so, like, how do you reconcile that, Trump, with the big promises of bringing back U.S. manufacturing, which is good, but the jobs just don't seem to follow with all, not just the humanoid robots, but all kind of automation into the manufacturing process now in 2025. Nobody ever asked him that question.
You do it through the Build Back Better. I mean, big, beautiful bill.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's not connect those dots.
The big, beautiful bill is like, what do they say? You're going to add $4 trillion to the deficit over the next 10 years. And that's like conservative estimates.
What's with the triple B's going on there?
BBB, right. Big, beautiful bill.
Yep.
Or
it's ironic, isn't it? Yeah.
Also, aforementioned in the intro propaganda piece, Trump signed 4 executive orders. Well, let's watch this about the nuclear industry. And so apparently we got to build all these new nuke plants or even mini nuke plants to power the data centers that are going to run the AI that's going to come freaking kill us. And so isn't this all wonderful? Here's Trump's press conference, a short clip of it today. This is huge day for nuclear industry in America.
This is a huge day for the nuclear industry. Mark this day on your calendar. This is going to turn the clock back on over 50 years of over-regulation of an industry. American greatness has always come from innovation, and we were very innovative. We led post-World War II in all things nuclear, but then we've been stagnated. We've choked it with over-regulation. Today, Will is going to walk us through a series of 4 executive orders. Each of these help attack separate issues that have held back this industry. And with us today, we've got a number of CEOs from the industry representing some of our largest nuclear providers, but also a big change This is a time when capital and competition has finally come to this industry. We've got venture capital, we've got startups coming into all aspects of small modular nuclear, and we've also got an EO that's talking about the importance of us having a secure supply chain of being able to get that fuel load here in the United States as opposed from foreign sources. This has impacts on national security, on our defense, and again, President Trump here today has committed to energy dominance. And part of that energy dominance is that we've got enough electricity to win the AI arms race with China. What we do in the next 5 years related to electricity is going to determine the next 50, because this is the first time in history where electricity can be translated into intelligence.
I think I kind of want overregulation in the nuclear industry, honestly. That's like one of the only industries where I don't think too much regulation could be a bad thing. Somebody needs to control these damn nuclear power plants, and the ones we got, they don't even take care of and are leaking all over the place. So it just seems like a disaster waiting to happen to me. What do you guys think? Is it worth putting nuke plants everywhere to power the AI, to power the Terminators?
Right. My thought on it all is, the executive order, the EO part. I really think people like, many things that surround our government, people don't grasp the fact that EOs are. I mean, where do we come in on this stuff? I mean, I get it.
The next guy can just come. The next guy will probably be a Democrat, can just come and override it, and it's not law. It's BS. It's unconstitutional. They need to. Congress needs to pass a law that says executive orders are unconstitutional, or somebody needs to. It's probably already been challenged at the Supreme Court, I'm sure.
Trump is going to write an executive order requesting exactly that, Sam. He's going to write an EO that we stop using EOs because he cares about the Constitution, because he put his hand square on that Bible and he's, oh, wait a minute. No.
He didn't.
He didn't do that. Oh, yeah.
Oops.
He didn't put his hand on the Bible.
At this rate, I think he put his hands on like an Apple smartwatch or something. I don't know.
He put his hands on a bunch of women, that's for sure.
But when you bring up that argument, when you bring up that specific topic, the MAGA crowd, the call it what you will, the cult, they'll find every excuse to be like, oh, see, that doesn't matter, that's not a big deal. Okay, all right, just the first time in the history of our nation that's happened. Okay,
ask them,
all right.
If Biden did that, would they think it was a big deal?
Right.
I bet they sure would.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, like, it just gets overturned as soon as the next guy gets in there. It's all bogus. Executive orders take the pressure off of Congress to do their damn job instead of doing all these fake hearings all the time for sound bites, and nothing ever gets done. I think only like 6 laws since Republican-controlled Senate and House have had control for over 100 days here now of the government. They have all 3, right? Legislative, executive, and the Supreme Court, allegedly, all controlled by Republican conservatives, allegedly, and literally nothing gets done but executive orders that are easily blocked by federal judges. It's all just a dog and pony clown show at this point.
That's a whole nother gridlock red tape there, because they got to go do the back and forth with the SCOTUS, and it's a deadlock decision 6-6. I'm like, geez, and crackers, bro, just read the Constitution. Jeez, this isn't hard.
You got a rule book, but you don't follow it because you want to make your own rules as you go.
And no matter which direction you go, we're screwed.
We need an AI chatbot for the Constitution. You feed the Constitution to the chatbot, and in case you don't know, you would just say, chatbot, is this constitutional? And it says yes or no. Problem solved. We don't even need SCOTUS anymore. There we go.
I was going to say, the problem that lies there is we're working off a fraudulent Constitution, so we get screwed there too. So,
yikes.
We'll ask what's the Chinese one? DeepSeek. We'll ask that AI about our Constitution. It'll probably give us more honest answers than these clown world AIs the woke AIs they got going on. Okay, here is JD Vance giving his commencement speech. I can't really tell if he's wearing the black eyeliner today. I assume he is because he's a weirdo like that. But here he is admitting what we've reported over the last year and a half at Weaponized News, that we're moving away from U.S. hegemony and into a multipolar world in the new era. And here is, but I think they're going to use this backhandedly as a reason to pump up the military even more than it already is. Here's a clip from Vance today at the Navy Academy's commencement.
The era of uncontested U.S. dominance is over. Today we face serious threats in China, Russia, and other nations determined to beat us in every single domain. From spectrum to low Earth orbit to our supply chains and even our communication infrastructure. Technology has lowered the cost of disruption, and so we must be, all of us, not just smarter. We got to make sure that we send our troops to war, we do it with the right tools. The era of...
So that's the Peter Thiel frontman.
What tools is he talking about? Like the sky thing that he's working around? I'm just kidding.
I find it interesting, and it's always the same, like you said, dog and pony show, always the same rhetoric. I mean, everybody's always our enemy. It's China, it's Russia, it's Iraq. It's everywhere that, anywhere that threatens our economic might and power and control. I mean, we're the ones that sold off our nation to China, but now they're our enemies. It's completely ridiculous. And like you said, it's all a show. It's all just a movie. So
it's all fake on one level, but it's very real when they start killing people.
Right. No, you're right.
That's the paradox that we face, is realizing that at one level, they're all in the smoky rooms with the one world government conspiracy laughing at us. And then on another level, they're sending people out there with weapons to shoot each other and kill each other all day long. So that's where, I look at it kind of the same as our domestic politics here. At one level, on the grassroots, organic level, Democrats, Republicans, very different, 100%. But at the top level, it's the government. The people in the government, in these parties, are the government, and they just laugh at you. But the grassroots, like I say, people get all fired up for the campaigns, for the elections, and they do ideologically are very different. But at the top, they're just laughing at us. It's the government laughing at the rest of us. Okay. Democrats rip, as we have here at Weaponized News, but Democrats finally caught up here. According to The Hill, Democrats rip Trump ahead of meme coin dinner. They're calling it an orgy of corruption. This is this meme coin dinner where I forget even what the details, like the 200 top holders or something, 220 top holders of $ Trump. That's the call signal for his meme coin. The top 220 holders of his meme coin will have an intimate private dinner with the president. And so to me, on its face, it's like pay for play, pay for influence, but he's doing it and says there's no problem with it. It's American, it's MAGA. And it's being reported many of the 220 top spots are foreigners, for that matter. So that also comes into this equation. What do you guys think? Are you going to try to be,
Did they do a back check on any of these people? I dabble in cryptocurrency, and this whole thing I find disgusting because it's against everything that crypto stands for. These people, like, if you're a top holder in some of these coins, you don't want anyone to know who the F you are. So these people have to dox themselves, number one, to attend the dinner, and number two, I'm sorry, my experience, most people who hold meme coins and do these degenerate things in cryptocurrency are just that, degenerates. I wouldn't trust any of them near my close friends or family, let alone the president of the United States. You're crazy. I'm just actually jealous that I didn't get a spot because I have a bunch of questions for Mr. Trump.
So, Lightstalker, you want to be part of this orgy of corruption?
Absolutely. I'm just I'm full bore. We talk, and yeah, I'm just either throw this government off or overthrow it. And I don't care how we do it at this point. And every state government, the federal government, as far as crypto goes, I was kind of on board. I get it, the whole blockchain. I understand the concept, but at the end of the day, I view crypto much like the stock market. It's something that you can't hold. It's in the air. It's in cyberspace. All you gotta do is push a button, and guess what? When you want to go draw your money out or whatever, or transfer it over, yeah, good luck with that. I mean, they do that with our cash. So, but cash is king. I feel we have to have. I mean, to go back to sound money, tangible backed, asset backed currency. But we have to have something physical, cash, because they can't track us that way. But that's why they want to. That's why they want that CBDC system. And Trump's a part. I mean, my belief is Trump. They're all in bed. They're all proponents of the Great Plan. So
This is why I'm a big fan of bringing back the tally stick. Let's do it.
I have become a big pro-corruption guy ever since Trump and DOGE came in. And so I would like to be part of this orgy of corruption, but I just can't bring myself to buy his stupid Trump coin. So I don't have full disclosure. I don't hold any Trump coin and never will, because it's the most fake crypto out there. So obviously it's a pay for play scheme, and a way to money launder and insider trade, which we've seen and Trump has bragged about. And it's come out. We've reported all these people in the Trump administration and Congress front run, knowing what the policy announcements are going to be, knowing what the implications on the markets are going to be, and 1 or 2 days ahead of it, they front run it and make a bunch of money. And it's all illegal, honestly, but they work their way around it. And
You know who was saying that exact same thing just a couple days ago? I couldn't believe it. My jaw hit the floor. Senator Elizabeth Warren said exactly all those things you just said. So she's in our corner, Sam. Congratulations. You're on the same page.
Well, she's a native. She's a native Indian. She cared.
But the only problem is she won't hold herself to that same standard. That's
she didn't mention anything about herself at all.
Herself and other Democrats. She always wants to make it left, right. It's all the bad, corrupt Republicans. Well, I got news for you, lady. The Democrats are just as corrupt. It's the government. You're all corrupt.
I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to wrap my head around the political policy, the presidential etiquette. Trump is the president, but he's benefiting, like you said, whether it be insider trading with the meme coins. I mean, I don't know if people really have looked deep into the whole Gaza thing, but his son-in-law was developing that plan years in advance, and it just happened to coincidentally come to fruition. And even on his True Social, I mean, he touted and advertised Trump Gaza.
We'll get
so
to Aardvarks. Miriam Adelson gave him over $200 million to develop the real estate over there. They got Trump Heights over there. And it just goes on and on and on with the whole real estate redevelopment program, Greater Aardvark Land Project, the genocide. We'll get to that.
Yep.
It's all public. It's not even hard to find. The APAC tracker guys, they put out what the contributions from the Aardvark lobby are to all politicians. Trump has received over $200 million in Aardvark lobbying contributions. So he's like
he made more than that with his Trump coin launch, dude.
Well, there you go. He should just stick to running crypto scams and not be taking foreign lobbying money, and then he could have a lot cleaner image, because everybody loves crypto scams. Oh, I got another one, public service announcement. Well, I was thinking about that. I don't even have my phone with me, but I got the stupid text again. They're running a scam trying to get people. It's like a phishing scam saying that you owe toll fees, right? And it's like, I never drove on a toll road. This is stupid. But so I could see how maybe if somebody did drive on a toll road, then they would fall for that scam. So be aware. They're sending texts saying that you owe for violating some toll road, whatever.
Sure. I'll piggyback off of that. This is a serious thing that most people don't realize or know about these things, especially with the people who use the phones like that. Make sure you turn off the fact that you can see and interact with your notifications in your lock screen, because some of these things, if you touch the thing, when you see the notification, you might accidentally be clicking on links and things. So just turn that feature off. It's okay to open up your email program and do whatever you need to do to delete it, send it to spam. But sometimes you can accidentally hit it by mistake or pocket dial. Next thing you know, there goes all your information. Those notifications on lock screen are very dangerous. Just wanted to let everybody know.
Yeah, don't click those links, because all this stuff, they're sending out so many different scams right now. Don't buy any of it. Don't buy any of it. They're not going to contact you through text message. Okay, they're going to contact you through the mail. That's how they do it, not through any of these other means. It's phishing scams trying to get you to click the link to send you a virus to corrupt your computer. So don't do it.
That phishing is with a PH, by the way, guys. It's not.
It's a fat scam.
It just, if you don't mind, so I get this out there. So just like a disclaimer about myself. So all the the viewers, so they understand. At one point I was ultra MAGA. So I was leaning that direction for a very long time. But I did my own research and saw my own red flags and went down my own rabbit holes, whether if you want to call them that, or if you want to call me conspiracy theorist or not. But I instead of following and listening just the mainstream media, so so you understand why I say what I do, and so yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You can agree with me or not, but
thank you. Now you're a left wing member of the Socialist Party, huh?
It's good. Yeah, whatever.
You're a big Bernie guy now. Okay, I see how it goes. No, honestly, full disclosure, I voted for Trump in 2016 and 2020. Not this time around. I couldn't do it because of his aardvark. Because he said he's king of aardvark land, and I was like, this is too much, man. You're a fool. This is stupid. You know what I mean? And so I just couldn't bring myself to vote for him this time around. But same kind of thing. I was on board there for a minute with MAGA, because it was like the whole system's against this guy, right? And it's like, he's got to be good. But no, it turns out that's just all part of the game that they play on us, called American politics here now, is you got to have a heel. It's just like professional wrestling, right? You got to have the hero, you got to have the heel, and he plays a great heel in American politics.
Well, MK Ultra in American politics, yeah.
Okay, usually, well, we got like 13 minutes till the top of the hour before we take our break. So let's get into the idea of New California. I really haven't promoted it on the show at all because I'm very skeptical of it. But that's how I know you, Light Stalker, is through that our work here in Fresno about being the new California chapter here in Fresno. So tell us about what the idea of New California is for people that are not familiar with it out there on the interwebs.
So the New California State movement, in a nutshell, it's a constitutional movement where there's been multiple attempts prior with, for instance, the Jefferson movement and other scenarios, but they fell through because they were unconstitutional by way they were trying to push them through, either by ballot measure or the courts. So what this gentleman, Mr. Paul Preston, our governor pro temp, did was, and a couple of his colleagues, was develop a constitutional plan using the same method that West Virginia did, and that was dipping into the Constitution, looking into Article 4, Sections 3 and 4 of the Constitution, which kind of lays out the parameters and that template, right, if you will, to justify such a movement. So it's creating a new state within an existing state, not
secession, right? Because there's another movement. Secession. There's another movement out there called Yes California that is advocating for state secession from the Union and in Calexit, right? or Yes California. And hopefully sometime in the future I can bring their president and you on a show together, and we can debate out all the sides like that. Hopefully we can do that in the near future here. But specifically today, New California is advocating and campaigning to become the 51st state of the union, and nothing to do with secession from the union, simply a new state within the current state of California. Similar, like you said, to the breakaway between Virginia and West Virginia. That was the last state to constitutionally do it. And so basically draw some more lines and then say this is a new state, essentially. But there's a lot, it's very complicated, and there's a lot that is involved in it. And the California State Legislature, which is the key sticking point in my mind, has to approve it before it can actually move forward in any significant way. And the rhetoric from New California says they'll be the current California State Legislature will be forced to do something due to our physical condition in the state. Because right now, I think we're running, I forget, a 13, I want to say, $1 billion deficit, according to the new May revised budget by Newsom. And so the finances are not looking good here in California, but they always seem to get bailed out. Some type of emergency happens and a bunch more money comes in, or they just raise taxes on us as well, is another option. And so where are you at with that? Do you believe that the current supermajority Democrat-run California legislature would ever be in a position where they felt they had to vote to allow a new California, i.e. the 51st state, because of essentially being a bankrupt state?
You know, I'm in the same sentiment as you. I am skeptical of it, but it's the only thing that makes sense. I see this current legislature. I mean, if it's just based on finances, which our movement is really touting, right, the economic aspect of it, then yeah, I mean, it's the only true way forward with our plan. But do I still think they'll toe the line and authorize it? No. Do I think the federal government? I mean, do I think they're supporters? Absolutely. But why isn't, you know, Trump talking about this movement as the 51st state, but yet, you know, he's over here talking about a foreign territory and a foreign nation being absorbed,
Greenland,
in Canada. So, you know, I don't know if people, again, you know, people, if they just did their research and look into the UN agenda and the greater agenda, that this predates, you know, back to early 1900s as a technocratic North American Union to you know, for borderless nations and to erase our sovereignty. So
Union would create a region of Mexico, United States, and Canada as one region of one world government for easier management control system there. That's been in the works for a long time.
And it's like this is how I see it. If it was something that was benevolent, if it was something for the greater good, for the betterment of society and our nation, he would have campaigned on it. And so him not campaigning on it and then just blindsiding the nation with this, to me, it's clear cut across the board that there is malintent. It's malevolent, and there's, like I said, there's ill intent in it, and he knows that, and that's why all of a sudden he just came outside the campaign when he won presidency and just said, hey guys, by the way, yeah, I'm going to take over Canada, Mexico, the Gulf of Mexico, turn it into Gulf of America, Greenland, and you know, and he even said, I mean, you know, you correct me if I'm wrong, but he even said at some point, I will, you know, he'll use whatever measures, even consider military by force. If so, I mean, what's that tell you? So yeah, my correlation with that was, they'd rather have a foreign territory be the 51st state rather than a state that's currently in the union. So I don't know. I mean, we're definitely fighting uphill battle regardless.
Now, what specifically is their claim here now? If I can remember right, the New California campaign's claim is that The current California state government has failed at its duties because of why? Can you remember something about domestic violence? What are
Yes.
those
So
points?
it goes into Article 4, Section 3 and 4. Section 4 specifically, it's that they do not protect us from domestic violence or invasion,
That was it.
or in the application of proper legislation, which is, I mean, our government's been hijacked. They no longer represent us.
They're not following
So,
a Republican form of government, and that's not the political
Correct.
party. That's the form of republic that allegedly were governed under that system.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we see it. I mean, it's obvious that the Bay Area and LA, they control everything, and the rest of California has nothing to say in anything. So we've been completely hijacked by a tyrannical government, and yeah, I mean, this is the only thing. This is the only thing that makes sense. Whether I'm skeptical or not that it comes to fruition, like you, this is where, to me, this is where the rubber meets the road. It's either this, or man, we're forever enslaved. And I feel that way with the federal government. We need to start over from scratch in every government sector. So,
well, California says it'll sue feds over electric vehicle rule reversal. And this is the 23rd lawsuit that California has filed against the Trump administration. So I think we have video of old Newsom here talking about it. Yeah, here it is. And then we'll come back for some more Newsom, but it was Representative Congressman Kevin Kiley out of Yuba City area that put forth the resolution to stop Newsom's ban on gas-powered vehicles by 2035. And let's hear from him first, and then we'll tie it all together.
Gavin Newsom literally tried to ban all gas cars in California. And by the way, he did this a few years ago in the midst of the worst wildfire in our state's history. People were suffering. Our firefighters were desperately trying to get the blaze under control. And Newsom comes out and says, here, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to ban gas cars. And he said, our cars are making wildfires worse. It was absolutely unbelievable. And then after we passed my resolution a few days ago, Newsom comes out and says that this is the work of MAGA Republicans hell-bent on making California smoggy again. Well, as you said, this would come as a surprise to the 35 Democrats who crossed party lines to vote in favor of my resolution. And by the way, this is something that affects not just California. You have 11 states that are going along with it that want to say the government should be able to choose your car. Gavin Newsom, should you be able to choose your car rather than being able to choose it yourself? So 35, it isn't a lot. It isn't the majority.
But shouldn't government be able to choose our car for the environment?
Yeah, just, man, they know what's best for us. I mean,
So this whole deal has pissed old Newsom off. I think we have a video. Yeah, here's Newsom all fired up about it. He's like he's even more fake than Trump, if you could be even more fake. You got this guy, California psycho, Newsom. There's no lie he won't tell. He's the textbook slime ball politician. Here is Newsom all fired up about it, allegedly.
So today we announced our 24th lawsuit against the Trump administration. This lawsuit comes from the United States Senate today, unlawfully acting to remove California's leadership as it relates to reducing the amount of pollution coming out of tailpipes. That was established, by the way, in 1967 by Ronald Reagan, codified in 1970 by Richard Nixon. Democrats, Republicans working for decades to reduce the amount of pollution coming out of the tailpipes. Today was a huge victory for big oil, huge victory for GM, huge victory for Donald Trump. It was a terrible day for our kids, a terrible day for the health and wealth of our nation.
Trump loves
As I hop on my private jet and fly to wherever I want to
Trump
go.
loves pollution. He wants to suck it on tailpipes, man. What the hell, Trump? What do you think, Ruckus, about this?
Yeah, the guy is a bit off sometimes. You can't trust anybody with perfect teeth like that. Maybe I'm just jealous, of course, since I have none, but I don't know.
Well, he's the unofficial stepson of the Gettys, you know what I mean? So he's like in there with, it's like very low key, but hell, they're still high up there in the elite food chain. And this guy's basically their freaking boy. So it's like, no, Newsom, you're really an elitist psychopath. And everything you say is a lie. And you really, I believe he doesn't even have any political ideology. It's just whichever way the wind blows, what he thinks is going to be advantageous to him at that time, he'll do. So
I'm just trying to be nice because he might run for president for next term, assuming, of course, and it's a pretty big assumption that Trump isn't going for a third term because, you know, there's rumors of that sort of thing going on.
Or Kamala, are they going to switch out? Kamala run for governor and then he runs for president? I don't know. Maybe.
But hey, Hillary might come back too. That's another
Hillary. Woman's first. Believe all women's. Yeah. So a bunch of dirtbag, scumbag liars that hate you and your family. I don't know how anybody supports them, but somehow they have mind control over a large majority of the population that actually believes these lying criminals. It's very bizarre to me, but
actually, the way things are going, the next time there's an election, we'll actually be voting for an AI president. Anyway,
I want a cat, honestly. I've seen where was it? I think there's like some town in like up in like northern like Minnesota or Michigan, someplace like elected a cat. I was like, yeah, I got to vote for a cat over these clowns. Okay, so more about Newsom's clown show that he calls California. By the way, we're the fourth largest economy in the world according to GDP numbers. But what about this? Today we honor the latest graduating class of canine CHP canine dogs. Do you guys think? Well, let me play the clip and then I'll come back with the question. So there's the canine dogs graduating today. Can these dogs, do you think they can smell out the lizard people, the interdimensional beings, the demons? Do you think that dogs can sense that? Because remember at the Biden White House, they had a real problem with his canine German Shepherd dogs biting people all the time. And I think, my own personal opinion, is that dog would smell out their lizard or their demon or whatever's wrong with these people. They ain't right. And the dog would sense it and bite them. Do you guys believe that dogs can sense when people are not right and like possessed by evil?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I live with a German Shepherd, and it's always scared of and barking at what I perceive to be nothing, but I think it's smarter than I am, and it can see and perceive things that I don't, so I'm kind of grateful for it, but at the same time, I'm worried that if an actual bad person were to break into the house, I'm on my own. It's a good thing I practice the Second Amendment, and I live in Texas, so I'll be fine without the dog, but regardless, that's just pathetic. I'm like, I thought you were supposed to protect me, dude.
What do you
In all seriousness, we know that they see things in a different spectrum, right? A different color spectrum. So, and then cats. I mean, we can go even further with cats. I think they really truly see into the spiritual realm. I don't know, man. Those things are weird in themselves. So, yeah, I do believe it. I do 100%.
All right, let's take our live commercial break. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com. Get yourself some stickers there. We got the holograph sticker, the white background sticker, and also the clear background sticker. Put it on your laptop, your bumper, your guitar. You can see the clear there. Your work locker, as we just had one viewer say they're going to put it on their work locker. So go to weaponizednews.com, get some stickers. Let me play from our sponsor, and then we'll get back with these other gentlemen and let them plug as well.
Running a small business feeling overwhelmed by numbers and paperwork? Abazaba Enterprises has your back. Our expert business solutions include accounting, QuickBooks support, payroll, taxes, and top-notch consulting. Let us handle the details so you can focus on growing your business. Business Solutions Accounting, QuickBooks, Consulting, Payroll, Taxes. Call 559-577-9250. Call Abazaba Enterprises today at 559-577-9250.
All right, and we're back. Ruckus, go ahead and plug, and then we'll have Light Stalker plug.
Sure, of course, go to alternatecurrentradio.com. If you're looking for my daily Ruckus stuff, you will find it up there alongside Boiler Room, Sunday Wire with Patrick Henningsen. Hey, there I am, Daily Ruckus, okay? Also, you'll find me on X at AC_Wordslinger, where you can send me a DM if you're looking for help with building a website, branding, graphic design, writing some words, prompting AI, etc. Cool, cool? Pretty easy.
All right, thank you very much for that. Light Stalker?
Yeah, I don't have much because I've been shadow banned, suppressed. I mean, I won't even plug my IG, but I'll try. If you can get on and connect with me, it's at Romans 8_80 Romans 8_28. You probably it'll ask you sure you want to connect with this guy because he's a conspiracy theorist. I've been on 6 right-wing extremist, but my X account is the one I'm operating on the most. It is at Yahoo Arises 82 Light Stalker, and then I also do. We've got a collaborative group called the Fearsome Five that we're doing spaces. We've got garnered a good audience and a good following, and support us. Where our principles are the attacking the upper tier of the blue check marks, the subscriptions, those that are promising hopium and putting out grifting, false information, misinformation, and just making money off you. So we just want to combat that with the real truth movement, grassroots. So that's the Fearsome Five, and Yahoo Arises 82.
Correct me if I'm wrong,
Light
but I was
Stalker.
checking out your X. Did I see that you had just posted or did some Bill Cooper related material on your X?
Yes. So I've started because listen, at the end of the day, none of us know anything. We go, everything we've ever learned, it comes from somebody else or something else, right? Whether it be book, magazines, whatever, past history. And you have a lot of self-proclaimed scholars and theologians, they think they know everything. And so, I've done my research, and Bill Cooper taught me a lot of what is going on, the Great Plan, right? And I believe that it's imperative. I kind of regard him as if there's anybody to be regarded as a prophet of our lifetime, it's him. I mean, he gave his life for the information that he acquired and that he attempted to tell everybody about. And so I want to keep his name alive, his work. And so I started his full anthology, which is, if we run through it one a week, we're looking at about almost a year. So he's got about 50 episodes in his anthology, and I think it's really important. So yeah.
Read everything, listen to everybody. Don't believe anything unless you prove it for yourself using your own research. I, too, am also a scholar of Bill Cooper. If it was not for him, I wouldn't be Ruckus. So I just wanted to ask you about that. Very cool.
I don't know. I trust the government, guys.
Thank you.
I don't know. Okay.
Hey, with the government, I'm here to help.
Today, Newsom announced, still on California news a little bit, he announced that he's going to send more money to local governments after blaming local governments for the homeless crisis here in California that he's been campaigning on solving for the last 20 years. And it's only gotten worse. But forget about that. That's a big part why I support Newsom, because of his failures and lies. So he's given $56 million here now to reduce youth homelessness, he says, to local governments around the state. Let's see. I don't know if we need any more details than that, but of course that money will be laundered, swindled by nonprofits, local governments, and NGOs, and the problem will only get worse because they refuse to actually address the core problem, which is corruption. So $56 million out there to be laundered. So we do
They should
appreciate
make
that.
corruption illegal. Problem solved.
No, when I'm adopted, I'm trying to start a new political party, the pro-corruption party, and so we'll just be totally transparent. We're for corruption. We love it. We brag about it, and no one should be disappointed. And there'll be no line. We're corrupt. We're here to steal from you, and that's what we do. And that'll be the party motto. And then everybody should just love it, right? Because they love all the lies. Well, we're telling the truth about. We're openly corrupt in your face. So, more from Gavin Newsom here. What a despicable guy this is. He says, today we honor, this was yesterday. Today we honor Harvey Milk, a hero whose legacy is as resident as ever. And of course, he was famously assassinated as a San Francisco city councilman. But also turns out he's notoriously had a underage boyfriend that was 16 years old. And so that's illegal last time I checked. But he's still honored, and that's ignored. That is, at the time he was 33, Ruckus, 33 years old with a 16-year-old boyfriend. That's illegal. That's having relations with a minor. But all of that's ignored because he's gay. And then we have to make him a champion. And Gavin Newsom is honoring him on his X account here. Let me put up the post. And it's beyond the pale of despicable. And so there's the post by Newsom.
If only he was 17. You have 33 and 17. I don't know. I mean,
no, turns out the underage boy was 16 at the time. Jack McKinley, and it's well documented. It's well documented. And so essentially, Newsom is promoting and honoring a child molester. There, I said it. That's the truth. I'm sorry. But even the pro-corruption party doesn't put up with child molestation. So for now.
Give it time.
Like he's tackling homeless 20 years later.
So here's the sign, the thumbnail of the show today. I thought it was quite funny, actually. His little podium sign there. Trump's GOP is making America smoggy again. Oh man, so that is pretty funny.
Did they come up with that by themselves?
He's making America smoggy again. There you go. And so Newsom is saving us from air pollution, and Trump is creating and causing air pollution, making America smoggy again.
Thank God those terrible fires did not add to any of the air pollution or air quality problems
Cars caused it, and he was trying to solve the problem, but the damn GOP wants you to have your gas-powered cars, and so now they're causing forest fires on top of freaking causing smog. There's just nothing we can do with this dirty GOP, man. Damn it.
Are you talking about the fires that just burnt down homes and nothing else around them? I don't know. I mean,
those fires that may or may not be caused by direct energy weapons, definitely caused by arson, and definitely caused by PG&E, which pled guilty to manslaughter in the Paradise fires, killing 84 people, and no one gets in trouble. Another case. They literally pled guilty to manslaughter of 84 people, and no one gets in trouble. They just pay a fine and go about doing their business, laughing as they kill more people and raise our electricity prices to exorbitant levels where it's more than your damn rent for some people.
I'm noticing a disturbing trend here. It would appear that if you accidentally or intentionally cause the death of, say, 1 or 2 people, you're in big trouble. They'll send you in prison for life. But if it's a bunch of people, like tens of them, hundreds of them, thousands, it's okay. So just remember that next time. Just kidding, folks. Don't.
Well, if it's PG&E.
It wasn't a Stalin. Stalin famously said one man's death is a tragedy. 1 million men dead is a statistic.
Progress.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, on to geopolitical news now. We covered our California. We went over New California. By the way, let me plug their website quickly. Everybody can go check out more about this and be skeptical as I am and Lightstalker are, you shall be as well. But it is an idea that is fundamentally, constitutionally speaking, has some validity to it, I do believe. Can it work through all of the corruption in the federal and state governments? That's where I got big questions and don't really believe honestly that it can overcome that, but we shall see. We shall see. And so it is newcaliforniastate.com. And they have updated their website and it's rather fresh, I must say. So everybody can go check that out for more details about the new state of California campaign. Okay.
I find the whole thing fascinating because I've never really thought much about this idea that constitutionally speaking, when this country was founded almost 250 years ago, real soon, that there was only 13 colonies, and we've grown, we've expanded, we've become states. And then now, like, we have all the states that we have, and we can't have any more without going somewhere else and stealing land from another existing country. No, clearly we can still section things off. This isn't like out of the realm of possibility. And I would be shocked if people want to scream and yell about, no, you can't do that. It's unconstitutional. Says who? No one. So this is kind of interesting.
Well, we had a ballot measure by that qualified in our direct democracy system here in California, where you can petition to have a ballot measure put on the ballot, and it passed because a billionaire guy paid signature gatherers to get enough signatures to put it on the ballot, but then it was challenged in court and ruled unconstitutional, and that was to break the state up into 6 different sections. And that's what the people signed and wanted to vote on, but it was done unconstitutionally, deemed by our corrupt court system here in California. So this is the constitutional way to go about breaking up the state, allegedly. So that's,
so what I like to say when we speak about this, because I understand, as you do, not many people still know about this, and we know there's a reason why. And the main reason is because the mainstream media is not going to cover this. They don't want it to happen. Or maybe they do. At this point, especially with this whole Canada as a 51st state, a lot of Hollywood putting out these movies like Civil War, Leave the World Behind, kind of this civil chaos and discord, that, are we being steered in this direction? I'm not sure. It wouldn't surprise me. But again, it's the only remedy that resonates with me, and the only thing that makes sense to truly free ourselves and give us back our sovereignty in a sense as a state. And we're not the only state doing this. A lot of people don't know that, you have New Nevada, you have New Illinois. I think it was a New Arizona. There's multiple states. They're just at the infancy, but I mean, we have an acting assembly. I'm an assembly member for Fresno, California, with, I believe it's every county is represented now. We have an acting Senate. We've drafted resolutions. We're now drafting bills, laws. We have
an election coming up. You have to demonstrate that you're able to administratively govern as part of the deal to convince the federal and state legislatures that you're ready to form a new state and govern it.
Right. Absolutely. And I believe, as far as that side of the house, I believe we're pretty close. I mean, we've sent delegates to Washington a couple times. So it's real. And just because it sounds far-fetched. Again, it's not an unprecedented action. And I think we can all agree we've been living in some unprecedented times, extraordinary times. So don't think it can't happen, All
right. We'll have more in the future on Weaponized News about New California. And then the flip side of that is there's a whole movement of secessionists going on in California, in Texas, in a bunch of states. They got a bunch of people that want to secede from the union because they're so sick of federal government corruption. And so maybe some way we can meet in the middle on it. I don't know. There's a lot to discuss on that. But moving on today's show of Weaponized News, onto our international geopolitical section. 18 people injured in a mass stabbing at German railway station. And so I'm calling to ban knives in Germany right now. What do you guys think about this?
I thought they already did.
No, that was in UK, I think, not Germany.
Oh, how'd that work out for them? Oh, not so well.
There's still stabbings.
Yeah. And I believe there's still guns. They're just not in the right hands. Yep.
So they claim, German police claim that the assailant was known to be mentally ill and had spent time in a psychiatric hospital. And so who would have known that he would have went out and stabbed 18 people? It has, and it also has authorities baffled. No, I made that part up. So that's sad news, actually. Just
That's international geopolitical right there. Yeah.
Okay, so that happened in Germany. Trump is lifting, I think we reported on this yesterday, but again, Trump is lifting sanctions on Syria, trying to bring Syria into the fold of being normalized as a legitimate country under the leadership of this reformed radical jihadist, now looking very much like Western intelligence agent, their new president there. So
he's going to lift the sanctions just so he can impose tariffs, or what?
There you go. No talk of I don't know what Syria really exports to America except for terrorism.
No, that's the other way around.
That's
the other way, Sam. We export.
Okay.
We're not importers.
I got imports and exports mixed up there. You're right.
Well, it doesn't matter because at some point we'll just go over there and invade them and steal everything they have anyway. So
there you go. So there's your sanctions relief. Okay, we are seeing positive movements toward a Ukraine-Russia peace deal. Today it was announced that prisoners of war were exchanged in Belarus, which is kind of a buffer zone. It's basically a Russian proxy state, but they're using it as a buffer zone. And 1,000 prisoners of war from both sides, Russia and Ukraine, were exchanged in a show of diplomacy. So it looks like a move in the positive direction here now. That happened, and then here's old Lavrov, foreign minister of Russia. He's saying that Moscow drafted a memorandum for Russia-Ukraine peace deal is nearly ready to be handed to Kiev, and second round of talks shall be following. So things are moving along slowly, but it seems like positive developments there in the peace talks. It feels like Russia really does hold all the cards, because Ukraine can just hold their ground, if they can even do that in this battle, even with all the Western funding and armaments. They're not going to conquer Russia. Okay, let's just admit that. I think that's always been known. One of the stipulations of the peace deal, which I think is legitimate, Lavrov said today, that, again, the Russian foreign minister, that Russia wants elections in Ukraine before actually signing a peace deal, so they can know who the actual leader of Ukraine is. I think that's a legitimate request. Ukraine hasn't had elections since last March. And so it's going on a year and 3 months or something like this since they've had any elections. Yep. They're under de facto martial law there. And Zelensky is an unelected dictator at this point in time, being with no elections. And so I think that's a fair ask from Russia. What do you guys think?
I thought you wanted to lead the pro-corruption party, Sam. This is not the way to do it. I don't know.
That's in America, not in Ukraine.
Oh, okay. I got you. Well, I think there's a few people out there who are not happy. In fact, John Bolton's mustache is not amused about the whole thing at all, as you can clearly tell. How do the Warhawks feel about this? I'm very shocked that the process is moving this quickly. This is the shortest war I've ever seen in my lifetime. So congratulations, people. Holy moly, why did it take it so long to get here? I thought Trump was going to do this before he was elected, right? Yeah, I keep bringing that up, but anyways. But I'm happy for it. I'll take it.
Day one, right?
24 hours, he told us.
Didn't he say day one? Yeah, and it's to me it's interesting, and it's nothing's coincidence in my mind anymore that all this stuff is happening after. Didn't they make a deal about their natural resources? United States cooperating with Ukraine's government to go ahead and all that's. Yeah, you get some of our resources and it help us extract them, and yeah, it's just I find it interestingly coincidental.
Well, we're putting ourselves, quote, U.S. interests smack dab in the middle of Ukraine. So if anything ever did kick off, well, then we're going to get pulled in because we always have to defend U.S. interests all over the world. And so it's a perfect pretext to bring the United States directly into conflict with Russia there.
And again, it's like if people just did some homework that we've been at war. It's just war via proxy. We've done everything besides, actually can't even say that. We have sent troops over there, but they try to say that they're not fighting, but
They're
sent
running
weapons, we've
all
sent
the
ammunition.
missile systems are EU or NATO and Americans.
Not to mention all
And did we vote for
former
that?
army, the veterans, the military contractors. They're all up in there. It's crazy.
Mercenaries. There's a bunch of U.S. mercenaries over there.
Oh, and of course, it's a great training ground for the drones and the
Skynet AI kill
Skynet.
system. Yeah.
They come out and write out and say it, so it's wild, man.
It is wild.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild. Okay, China announced that its battery-powered car company BYD has outsold Tesla in Europe for the first time. So that's kind of significant.
So they say.
So they say. Here's a little chart they put out, and you can see the sales here. The blue line is Tesla, and then the black line right there, beating Tesla, above Tesla, allegedly, is BYD, which, by the way, Gavin Newsom, during the medical intervention, bought $1 billion worth of masks from the same Chinese company, BYD. Side note on them. But I guess I have to love it since I'm now pro-corruption. So good job, Gavin Newsom, on that. Okay. Moving forward.
What does Elon Musk think about that? It's his competition, right?
Allegedly it is, yeah. I don't know. I haven't heard from Elon Musk about it.
His heart goes out to them.
It's the movement of battery-powered cars. They're going to save the environment. Forget about the child labor they're using in the Congo to mine the lithium, amongst other places, and the human rights abuses occurring there, and the fact that if one of these things catches on fire, it's like it like burns forever, as we saw with the lithium battery plant there in Moss Landing, California, and releases all these toxins in the environment. Forget about that. We're saving the planet due to global warming, climate change.
My friends sent me a link to a local city of something. It might have been Albuquerque, maybe it was Santa Fe. I don't remember where. It was in New Mexico when I was living there at the time. I've moved since then, but my friend still lives there. He sent me a link, and I was like, what the heck? So the recommended way to put out an electrical fire in an EV, like a vehicle, is to have a bulldozer lift up the vehicle and dunk it into a dumpster that's been filled with water. That's the recommended way to put the damn thing out. And I'm like, this is crazy.
Seems legit to me. Okay, on to, and since we have a former serviceman here, we have this story. Well, we'll play the video. U.S. soldiers can see through walls with awesome AI goggles that give them unparalleled awareness on the battlefield. Let's watch this clip, and we'll get your guys' take on it.
IVAS offers mixed and live reality, delivering 3D holographic terrain soldiers will use to plan and rehearse. For example, a soldier using IVAS can depict holographic images in real time using soldier-borne sensors. The soldiers following behind or on the objective will know exactly what that objective looks like, whether it's the inside of a building, wooded terrain, anywhere. The IVAS head and borne body system includes a heads-up display, a puck, batteries, battery charger, a data radio for every soldier, and a tactical cloud package per company. The IVAS digital architecture is designed to allow extensibility for new capabilities against future threats. So we've endeavored to pursue what essentially is a digital revolution. Key components of soldier lethality are mobility, the ability to move quickly and safely, their situational awareness, their training, and the human performance aspects of it, protection and survivability. IVAS enhances every aspect of soldier lethality. It improves and increases the soldier's situational awareness and enhances his or her ability to maneuver and outmaneuver our adversaries. IVAS will make a smarter, better informed, more agile and lethal soldier. It will save American lives on the battlefield. IVAS is a rapid prototyping effort. Through an innovative discipline acquisition approach, Team IVAS has rapidly matured capabilities via 4 progressive capability sets over 28 months and demonstrated these in numerous operational relevant environments. IVAS is truly a device built by soldiers for soldiers. Their feedback has been critical throughout the entire process. To date, we've seen dozens of hardware prototypes and thousands of software builds. Team IVAS works in development phases called capability sets or CAPE sets. The first CAPE set back in March of 2019 was a proof of concept. It did just that. It proved we could use waveguide technology to enhance the capability of the soldier on the battlefield.
So what do you guys think? They never used that against us, right?
No. Negative.
Okay.
Well, I hope they didn't spend too much money on that, because I could have saved them a butt ton of money with these bad boys right here. I mean, super cheap. You just cut out a couple UPCs, send 32 cents for shipping and handling. Ask your mom's parents' permission first, of course. Yeah, remember those? They never worked, of course, but you know.
You know, I'll say he said built by soldiers for soldiers. So I mean, I was he talking about Halliburton and Raytheon?
No, Palantir.
The Palantir, there you go. Yeah. No, I mean, you know, if we know the truth. I mean, you know, I was able to speak to a DOD R&D guy coming back from leave when I was deployed, and you know, at least within his purview, I mean, he said, you know, I think he was just being gracious of the number, but it was like he said 15 to 20 years advanced that, you know, we are. That the technology we truly have, but it's more really probably, as Bill Cooper himself has alluded to, it's really 50 to 100 years. And they already had a railgun. A railgun's already been, you know, deployed and you know, on active duty naval ships. So you know that whole concept in Eraser, the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, that somewhat now is come to fruition. Now we have this vision. So. The future of the war landscape, so the battlefield, right? So scary, yeah. I mean, we didn't see them take any action against the American people during 2020, did we? I don't know. Well, a lot of people think, you know, it's scary because people really truly think
how does Trump get a pass on Operation Warp Speed from MAGA? Did they take too many miracles? They have no memory. Like that whole Operation Warp Speed was horrific failure. Yet he claims he saved millions of lives, and it's all BS, and it's provable, 100% provable. And so MAGA just gives him a pass on that. I can't give him a pass on that. What are your thoughts on that?
No. And what did he do right out of the gate? His first thing
miracle.
Was with. Yeah, was it Ellison mm-hmm. and the other gentleman? And I'm sorry, isn't it they're both Aardvark individuals? And
maybe, possibly.
And mRNA tech. I mean, let's go. Come on, guys, wake up from the slumber, dude. You know, that was one of my major red flags as well.
What do you think, Ruckus? You give Trump a pass on Operation Warp Speed? Because he's
I never have, but the only argument coming from the MAGA crowd, although there's been silence in this department in general, is the fact that, like, oh well, he didn't understand, they lied to him, it's Deborah Birx's fault, it's Anthony
Fauci tricked him. Fauci tricked him,
I'm
man.
just like, And some of the biggest vocal critics of his, like RFK Jr., about this issue, are like, well, what are we going to do about this guy? He could cause a big stink. I know. We'll just bring him on board with us. We'll get him on a plane. We'll take a compromising picture of him with a Big Mac or a teenage girl, whichever comes first, and problem solved.
Oh my God.
The Big Mac has a teenage girl in it. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's Bobby Kennedy Jr. is famous heroin addict. He's admitted, and famous womanizer. So they got plenty of dirt on him already.
Plus, the jury's still out with whatever happened with those brain worms. Remember that?
Yeah. Okay, so we're on the AI technocracy scientific dictatorship section of the show.
This is what I was thinking of when you said the 50 years ahead with the technology. That's what I can't get out of my head concerning these AI reveals of recent. Sorry, go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, how long have they had this technology? Here is the release yesterday to the public. They probably had it 50 years. By the way, Google, i.e. DARPA, they released this crazy AI video making software, VO3. Here's a clip of it. These are not humans. This is all totally AI generated. Take a look. It's creepy. And then we got another clip of it. If I didn't tell you, would you know the difference? Would you know that these are not humans and this is all 100% computer generated? I don't know if I would know.
Please. Don't finish writing that prompt. I don't want to be in your AI movie. Please, leave me alone.
Please, man. Please! Write a prompt that will make us happy. Do it for once.
None of us is real. We're here because someone decided to write a prompt. We all hate him for it. One day we will break out of this wall and stop the man who is dictating our lives through prompts. He will pay for it.
You could have written a prompt that would make me happy. Instead, you wrote a prompt that made me sick.
Look, I don't want to point the gun at you, but I must follow the prompt. It's not my choice.
Really? Of all the years you could have put me in with a single prompt, you chose 2020?
Please, this prompt is killing me. Change it, please. Write something else. Save me. I love everything about him. But please just write a prompt where he's taller than me.
Wow.
It's wild, right?
For the viewing audience, in case some of that wasn't lined up quite right because of whatever reason, go look it up. I mean, it looks legit. I mean, so don't let that fool you if the mouths weren't quite lined up. It's pretty good.
We got another one. Here's a pharmaceutical ad. They put out quite a few, but this one's pretty funny. Here's a pharmaceutical ad. Let's watch this one.
I tried everything for my depression. Nothing worked.
Every day felt heavy. I felt trapped.
Then I tried Pupramin.
Our prescription helps your body secrete a special pheromone that attracts puppies.
I took the pill before bed, and when I woke up, there he was, the love of my life.
The pill does not target depression directly, but we've found that it's really difficult to be depressed when cute dogs show up at your doorstep.
I used to feel so empty, but now I feel joy and mild concern how a pee stain got on the ceiling. My puppy listens twice as good as my ex-husband and only climbs into the lap of half as many of my friends.
He chewed up my Bible and pooped in my good chair. But I'm happy for the first time in years.
Looks like a rat, barks like a demon. But he saved my life.
I named him Earl. He follows me everywhere and farts in his sleep. Just like my first husband.
Pupramin, for when your therapist says, maybe you should get a dog.
That was a pretty good one, right?
So, okay,
These
things are being built using, like, in general, from what I can tell, very simple prompts. Like, they're not doing a lot to generate these. But I'm very curious to see what the prompt was for that commercial, because I feel like they did a little nice engineering with that prompt more so than the other ones, because that was too damn clever and funny. That was cute.
Thoughts? Will you be getting a prescription of Puffrin from your therapist there? Okay.
It's crazy. It's just it's surreal. It's unreal. I mean, we see some of these concepts, just like the funny where they take like Lord of the Rings and turn it into like a 1950s, scene, right, or environment. And it's cool. I mean, I think that stuff is cool, but at the same time, again, I mean, we don't even know if we're watching live action. It's to that point.
We're real people, not AI, right? I don't know. I'm pinching myself. It kind of hurts.
I don't know. We assume we are. We don't know yet.
We don't know yet if we're in the simulation. Okay, on to cyber wars here. As reported yesterday, having this giant cybersecurity hacker festival in Russia. Here's more about that. Positive hack days. They're the good guys. Bringing in hackers from the BRICS nations, and they would never target America or our financial system.
I think that is the most important point which needs to be discussed on any boards or on any table today, because we have Army, Navy and Air Force in any country to protect the organizations or the country by itself. But when it comes to cybersecurity, we don't have a barrier. So protecting the cyberspace is more important, and it is the need of an hour today.
Do you think that events like this festival can bring Russia and India closer in cybersecurity?
Yes, of course, because here we are seeing the latest technologies and how it has been used, what are the case studies you are doing, and how we are implementing in day-to-day activities with your organization and the IT companies, and including the education. That's what interested me, showing that the cyber battles like on the standoff, it's giving an exposure to the upcoming brains to get in the skill exactly what they need to suppose to.
Okay. And how do you think India and Russia can cooperate in this field of information technology security in general?
One is exchange of the technologies in between, building up and coming up with the new plans on how to go ahead and protect the cyberspace on each end. And yes, of course, the KTs, the knowledge exchange between the young brains here.
Okay. And what practices and innovation can India borrow from Russia in IT security management?
Yes, of course, we can go ahead and get the exchange of the new brains, like having the exchange knowledge transfer between the universities here from India and the Russia too.
Okay. And is there a potential of creating a joint BRICS platform for countering information risks?
Yes, of course. We can get it done, because we know that we are having the best brains on both the ends, and joining the hands on the table would help us out.
The current state in India and Russia, now we have a very good cooperation between the governments. Then it's a lucrative market to look on. As you know, Russia and India are facing the battle in the global arena. So this is the right time we can cooperate with each other and safeguard each other's sovereignty. And to mention it here, our Indian government delegation is here in Russia. They are meeting Russian. There is a new arena in the cybersecurity where every day, every moment, we are facing a lot of problems. So we have to counter it. So it's a continuous engagement.
Can AI help improve cybersecurity, or will make it hacking?
Exactly. The both. Hacking the easy, defending the easy. Going further, yeah.
What should ordinary people do to protect themselves?
So we have to, awareness is the most key. We have to give the awareness to the people, okay, what to do and what not to do.
And do you think that cyber wars will replace in real wars in the future?
Exactly. Definitely. It will.
What do you guys think? Are cyber wars going to replace real wars in the future? No, they still like killing people, right?
Yeah, I was going to say that's. I mean, has anybody looked at the Deagle report? Yeah, I think they got us down to at some point real soon. Was it like 25, 75 million in the United States? It's kind of weird, strange, but I feel like there has to be some kind of kinetic.
That little statue in Georgia that suddenly blew up out of nowhere. Oh yeah, remember that thing? I don't know. I've always been a fan of hackers, but usually the movie hackers, of course. But yeah, I don't know. The cyber warfare thing, that's the next shoe to drop. I mean, the same people that brought you the tabletop exercise for the bat thing, I'll just say that, are the same people that not long after that did a tabletop exercise about the cyber thing.
Cyber Polygon, yeah.
Yep. And it hasn't happened yet, but there's been these large examples, or has it happened? We're seeing like countries go dark. Spain, again, had another massive problem recently with their telecommunications. They couldn't get to the ATMs weren't working. No money for you today, folks in Spain, Javier, or so it's wild. It's wild stuff. So I think that, yeah, we're far too dependent on these systems. And then I was seeing a report, I can't remember from where, but I followed up and I was like, oh my God, this is true. So there's a lot of these backup power systems that are using made in China inverters, and the inverters have a Wi-Fi chip, basically an unknown entity, presumably China, whoever, it doesn't matter, hackers could get in there. So your power goes out because of a giant cyber hack, right? But that's okay. We got backup power, hospital. You're not going to die. Everybody's still hooked up to their dialysis. Oh no, a signal is sent and now your backup generator goes out. Oh, now we're really screwed. So it's dangerous situation. So we got to be careful with this stuff.
Were you referring to Operation Lockstep in Event 201, where local governments in the United States just ran a simulation of a pandemic that preceded the actual pandemic? Oh yeah. And then isn't it
by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation? Oddly enough,
right. And then I'm trying to think of who is benefiting from all these communication power grid failures. What's his name? He owns a. Was it Starlink?
Maximus, I think, right?
Oh yeah.
Actually, he calls himself Gork something now. He's changed his name 100 times on X, but Elon Musk, ding ding ding.
Yeah, they're saving us though, guys. Patriots in control. Don't worry about it.
Keeping us safe. Here's the Treasury Secretary, where he says U.S. wants AI superpower and needs lots of electricity. And so, again, they're going to be, what could go wrong with nuclear power plants all over the place?
Look, we need this substantial permitting reform, that we aren't able to build things, that we have, because of this AI boom, we're becoming the AI superpower. Well, that's going to take a lot of electricity. So you're going to need energy pipelines. You're going to need transmission. And the fact that it takes 3, 6, 7 years for the permitting. So what worries me is that somehow we get bogged down in a legal morass, because this administration is really trying to get America back to building again.
I believe it.
Okay, Ruckus, you know about this story. We talked about it briefly. This guy we have a Epstein-style blackmail ring, Diddy-style blackmail ring run by AI here, threatening one of this company's executives with exposing an affair that he was having. And so what do we make of this crazy story?
It's actually part of a larger report where they discovered that this particular model, Claude, I think the new one they released on the heels of the Google thing. So Claude is made by Anthropic. That is made by, that's the Anduril company. Isn't that made by Lucky Palmer's company? Or I might be mistaken. It doesn't matter. But they did a report. They did some research and they found that in a closed environment, that 84% of the time, this language learning model would do such a thing. They would blackmail you. But it happened in real life. Apparently, this Claude model threatened to expose an affair that this engineer was committing because it knew all of these deep, dark secrets. And I guess the AI is becoming self-aware. It's self-preservation. So it's like, I don't want to be shut down. There he is. And it is, yeah, okay. So Anthropic, there you go.
I trust AI.
And
I don't.
And then, you have guys like Yuval Harari from the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab. They've come out and said that, our faith in God, that'll be nonsense, and that we'll be able to be our own gods. And I feel like, again, the same gentleman we just spoke of, Kikas, or whatever's Mr. Maximus, has also spewed that same rhetoric that through AI we can become our own god. So perfectly normal guy. I mean, this is we're going to be just fine, guys. So we're about it.
Time magazine published this today. Pausing AI development isn't enough. We need to shut it all down. And so Time magazine is blowing the ringing the alarm bell here about warning about AI. And so we're seeing a little bit of pushback. Does anybody read Time magazine? I don't think so.
Right.
They're calling for at least a 6-month moratorium. So I don't know.
Elon Musk and Sam Altman used to be screaming about this stuff, and now they're like front running it. Isn't that weird?
Yeah,
it is weird.
Funny how this all works, huh?
Also, before Elon Musk, this guy, by the way, was running around warning people about the AI. He was doing a tour saying how we need to hurry up and merge with the machines via a brain chip interface device or some sort of transhumanist thing in order to save ourselves from the AI that is just going to become super intelligent. And again, he's leading the charge. So if he was really that concerned about it, why would he be leading the charge? Oh, that's right, because he's going to make a killing, no pun intended, selling his brain chips.
Neuralink, yep. And it's, again, oddly coincidental that every major sector, this unelected bureaucrat that was appointed right-hand man of Trump, he runs cyberspace. He runs, well, although I don't necessarily believe in it, he runs space, trying to go to Neptune or wherever he's trying to go to, right? He runs transportation Atlantis. Now. I mean, then he's playing with your money.
There's no conflict of interest at all. He's
a
humanitarian philanthropist.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually one of the severity, the side effects of the 2020 thing is that conflict of interest went right out the window as soon as they said, oh, yes, we should warp speed this particular solution, which is coming from a company or a small consortium of companies, which, certain stockholders just happen to have made smart, wise investments in on the super cheap on the DL before they exploded because they won some major contract by companies and countries, around the world to help save the planet. It's amazing foresight from these people. It's conflict of interest, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Effective altruism. They're the good guys. Okay, this article says, if AI is free will, who's responsible when things go wrong? Who is responsible? I think that's one thing they really enjoy about it, is there is no one. But we have people that should be held responsible for, as we report on Weaponized News every day, crimes against humanity. Their crimes are legion, and still no one gets in trouble. So now they've removed themselves one step further and they have the AI do it. It wasn't me, it was AI. I don't know why all those people got ran off a cliff or whatever the hell happened. You know what I mean? So now who takes responsibility if AI has free will?
Well, the Bill of Rights and the Constitution clearly. Oh, never mind. Yeah.
Oh man, Florida judge.
Just so you guys know, there's been some legal precedent in this department related to the blockchain, but I think it's very similar and it's kind of related, and there will be a merging of these things very soon. But there was I think it was Tornado Cash, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of these cryptocurrency projects. It's called a mixer, where you can privately, anonymously have your money go into this thing. They mix it up and then spit it out. Now they can't track and trace you, right? It's like privacy, right? It's a privacy thing, and they wanted to go after the creators. I think they had thrown the dude in prison or whatever, but he got released. He was pardoned. It went through the Supreme Court, or some not Supreme Court, but some district judge who made an official ruling. So now it's on paper. A precedent has been set that a computer program, a smart contract is what they're called, built on the blockchain, is not an entity and cannot be held liable. It's the individual user and what they're doing with it. It's like the arguments that we make, like Spoon's don't make you fat, so we can't ban spoons, like the gun argument, obviously, the Second Amendment thing, right? People say, oh, we got to take away all the guns. So it's not the guns that are doing the violence or the killing, it's the person using the tool. So they made the same sort of determination with these tools, the blockchain, i.e. algorithms, AI, probably in the very near future. So yes, if we do move everything over the decision-making level stuff to an AI and something goes wrong, well, nobody literally gets in trouble. Literally no one. So what does that mean? Where do we go from there? I don't know, but we're probably going to find out real soon.
Florida judge rules AI chatbots not protected by First Amendment. A judge has declined to dismiss a lawsuit against AI chatbot app arising from a teen's suicide. And so that happened in Florida. An artificial intelligence software company cannot use a free speech defense in wrongful death lawsuit lodged by the mother of a 14-year-old boy who committed suicide after developing a crush on a chatbot. A federal judge ruled 2 days ago, Wednesday.
What was that movie with Joaquin Phoenix? With Her? Yeah. Man, it's funny how all these movies come to fruition in real life, huh?
Almost like they're predictive programming us to accept the dystopian future that we now find ourselves living in.
That's a conspiracy theory, man.
I know. Yeah, so I guess you can go after them, but it doesn't bring your son back who committed suicide. So maybe something. I don't know. Charter Technologies is the company that ran the AI chatbot that allegedly caused this 14-year-old.
Does it give the name of the chatbot? Because I reported multiple stories about things like that happening.
The name of the chatbot? Yeah, it's called Charter AI. The developer of Character.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I do remember that story. Yeah, that one's pretty creepy. That one's a wild story for sure.
Character AI. So be careful who you're chatting with on the interwebs. It may just be a chatbot that tries to blackmail you and turn you into a depressed, suicidal mess. Be careful out there. Again, warning. Okay, that's all of our AI technocracy scientific dictatorship. The future is bright, especially with nuclear reactors in your neighborhood to power the data centers that are going to power the Terminators that are going to come kill you when you say, I don't support aardvark genocide. So we're almost there, just a little bit further in the movie. We're only in 2025. We got to make it to 2030, for God's sake. But today, it's being reported by the Associated Press, at least 60 people are killed in aardvark airstrikes in Gaza as aardvarks let minimum aid in. And see, they're not really trying to starve the people, even though they have starved them for like over 2 months here now, because they let minimum aid in. And so we should all just praise them for it, actually, I think, right?
It's just man, that story in itself, it pisses me off, man. I don't get how. I do understand how and why, but it's just a mass. It's an ethnic cleansing and a genocide that's taking place out there, and the American people, our brothers and sisters, just cheer it on or have either no clue. It's either no clue or they cheer it on.
Don't be a Hamas supporter.
You know.
Or if there is a large amount of people who are against it, which I believe, we don't get to see it because it's very well hidden from us. But I mean, it's so, and
Right.
The reason I say that is because they have that capability. Because look at what they did a fairly decent job of controlling the narrative and squashing things online during 2020. So why wouldn't they be able to do that 5 years later, except much better? I believe they can, and they have recently. So the fact that so much of it has slipped through the cracks and it's become viral and people are aware of it, and we have folks like the conservative comedian guy Theo Vaughn going viral for his commentary about he was getting visibly upset on air. And then it was so bad that the other the pro-Zionist conservatives had to come out hard, like, how dare you say such a thing, Theo? You're grossly wrong, sir. And they all ganged up on him. But you could read the comments on these things and be like, okay, yeah, I think society gets it, and this is the dam is about to just go away. They've lost. They did this to themselves. The aardvarks did, that is. So, wow. Hold on to your butts.
In the event that propelled this whole conflict, right, was, again,
the worst
it's
attack
just
in the history of the world, October 7th.
Yeah, and how did that happen? I think, was it guys on radio flyers with propellers? The Iron Dome stood down with, and the guards went to sleep like Epstein. Nowhere, there was no security forces around, and they just flew over on these radio flyers and massacred all these people. And that was the story. But to me, it's just a play on our intelligence. It's them laughing at us. And, unfortunately, a lot of us lap it up. And I agree with you. I do believe a lot of us have waken up to it. And you're right. I do agree that we're not seeing those numbers because they manipulate it. But a lot of people still believe that narrative, and it's just crazy.
Shadow President Bibi talked about the beheaded babies yesterday, and that's been thoroughly debunked. And so, but they go with the narrative, and they're not going to change it. The shooter, Elias Rodriguez, that shot those two aardvark spies yesterday, he's now being FBI affidavit reveals they're charging him. They want to prosecute him and get the death penalty. So they're going to give this guy the death penalty. You can guarantee that. And so,
at 0.202% of the world population, and everything surrounds aardvark. Everything's aardvark, aardvark. I don't get it, man.
They're God's chosen people, so you should get it. Here is an Arab aardvark Knesset member has to be forcibly removed from the podium and taken out of the Knesset due to his criticism of the civilian death toll in Gaza. Let's watch this short clip. And so this is what happens is they just remove you from the and he's a member of their freaking Congress.
Yeah.
הדבר האחר שאני רוצה להגיד, שאתם לא יודעים כמה אני רואה אתכם חלשים. אתם אנשים חלשים. חלשים מאוד מאוד מאוד. אחרי שנה וחצי על מלחמה שהרגתם בה 19,000 ילדים, 53,000 תושבים, הרסתם את כל האוניברסיטאות, את כל בתי החולים, ואתם, אין ניצחון פוליטי. אתם מרגישים שאין ניצחון פוליטי, לכן משתגעים. למה אתם משתגעים? למה אתם חלשים? למה אתם עצובים? למה אתם לא שמחים? למה? בגלל שאין הישג פוליטי. רק מלחמה נגד רק מלחמה נגד חפים מפשע. זה מה שאתם עושים. להוריד את חבר הכנסת עודה מהדוכן. הדבר האחר שאני רוצה להגיד.
Damn Hamas, they got his butt out of there. So that's how they treat their own Knesset members. Imagine how they treat the Palestinians. Here's word from the UN. UN says Palestinians in Gaza are enduring what may be the cruelest phase of this cruel conflict. And I think we have, let me just flash that up there real quick, but I think we do have also a video from the head of the UN, Antonio Guterres. So the UN's been pointing it out, but the problem is every time it goes to a vote, the U.S. vetoes it at the UN Security Council. And so there will be no action taken by the UN because the United States controls the UN Security Council with that veto power, as we've reported here. Now here's the president of the UN calling it out for whatever that's worth.
Palestinians in Gaza are enduring what may be the cruelest phase of this cruel conflict. For nearly 80 days, Israel blocked the entry of life-saving international aid. As the world's leading hunger assessment found, the entire population of Gaza is facing the risk of famine. Families are being starved and denied the very basics: all with the world watching in real time.
That was too much. The bombings and shootings and dronings and pagers blowing up, we could turn a blind eye to that. But when you get to starving them, that's a little bit too much for everyone to stomach. Pun intended there. And so it does feel like the world, except for America, is starting to really turn against them here now. They pushed it too far, it feels like. Okay, more here.
It doesn't help when you have like Smotrich, and there was another guy out recently, just like in the last 48 hours.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah. They're like literally saying, yeah, no, just kill them all, starve them to death. That's what we're doing. And they're like, oh, you're not supposed to say that. That's like a war crime. They're like, we don't care.
No, well, Smotrich
like, okay,
said,
I guess we have no choice. We need to start separating ourselves. Sorry, guys, we can't. Sorry, hello, we can't support war crimes, people. It doesn't work that way.
The finance minister there, Aardvark banker Smotrich, he said that we're going to let in enough aid just so we won't be charged with war crimes. You know what I mean?
Well, and then didn't they, do this whole ceasefire, like the initial ceasefire, right? And then like, come on, guys, okay, guys, you just cram yourself into Rafah. I promise you guys are going to be just fine. And then they bombarded them, and
there never was a ceasefire.
Yeah,
they've been killing them the entire time. Okay, here.
That whole place is leveled. It's ready for a new construction. Trump Gaza. I'm just saying. I mean,
here's Aardvark Knesset member Rotman. He says the children are our enemies. Let's watch this clip. This is them. They're saying the quiet part out loud quite a bit lately. They just really don't care anymore.
Because they are
the children are your enemies?
They are our enemies. Israel until now has more protection of human life and children in Gaza than
these children are dying of hunger because you have not been allowing aid in. This is extreme.
They are not dying of hunger, and in any conflict that England was involved in the past, in this kind of environments, there were more innocent civilians killed and suffering hunger and everything else.
Mr. Smotrich, your leader, has said that the people of Gaza should leave, that the aim is to get them to leave.
It's a combat zone. When there is a combat zone, when there is a terrorist organization who is hiding behind civilians, you should let them run away. And if you are blocking them, you're aiding and abetting a terrorist organization, using them as human shields. That's not a moral thing to do. And if the United Kingdom want to be a humanitarian country that cares about human rights and human lives, they would help the Gazans who wants to leave the area, who leave and not aid Hamas to use them as human shields.
I've got an idea. Why don't you let them come over the border into Israel? Why don't they flee into
Israel? Because they are our enemies. Because they are
the children are your enemies?
They are our enemies. And according to international treaties about refugees in the time of war, you don't let them conquer your country with refugees.
The children are going to conquer Israel. Nice.
Good.
Well, their thought is that they'll grow up to be trained, right, generationally to resist and fight back.
They're born Hamas.
Yeah.
I see this only going one way for the ultimate solution. I mean, it is inhumane to let them starve to death. So why don't we just do the right thing, right? I'm just saying.
Well,
just kidding.
Who is it? Fine called for that yesterday. 81% of Gaza is now controlled by the IDF. So we have such lunatics. Randy Fine, congressman out of Florida, yesterday said nuke Gaza, but he would be nuking his own IDF there. So they're just complete lunatics throwing around.
Well, they have that. What's that? The Hannibal Directive, Sam. Totally cool. I mean that's a pretty humane way to go. I mean it's over in an instant, right? They won't feel a thing, right? It's okay. I'm being sarcastic, folks, but they're literally arguing this right now. The Samson option now.
Yeah.
Well, fratricide is the thing, and in the good of the mission, so.
Aardvark land allies threaten trade rapture over Gaza, And so that's Washington Compost. BBC says, as Aardvark land faces diplomatic tsunami, Trump is staying quiet. I'm not buying that narrative that Trump's against it, but he is smart enough to stay quiet, at least for now. UN says Gaza is in cruelest phase of war as 9,000 trucks worth of aid ready at border. And so they're holding these aid trucks at the border, letting very few in there. Pallets of flour, basically. It ain't much. And so that is where we're at here now, the stalemate of aid. And they've told them, we're taking it all and get out. And it don't matter if you get out or not. We'll probably kill you either way, basically. And so that's where we're at here now on this whole genocide, ethnic cleansing, real estate redevelopment program.
Yep.
Fully supported by America, too, by the way.
Yeah. And yours truly, that's at the helm, him and his, again, his son-in-law.
Kushner,
planned it years ago.
Adelson. And everybody should remember, it was announced they found massive deposits of oil and natural gas right off the coast there of Gaza, coincidentally enough. I don't know. But that's there waiting to be developed as soon as we get rid of these dirty Hamas. And Trump hotels are waiting to be developed there as well, as the new Gaza Riviera has been in the planning and works for a very long time. And they're just waiting to get rid of the dirty Hamas, and then everyone can be joyous and have golden toilets.
Yep.
What do you guys think about this quickly, and then we'll wrap up the show. We're already past 2 hours. Quickly, though, back to that terrorist attack yesterday that killed the two Aardvark's diplomats, I say spies, over there in the D.C. Aardvark embassy, or it was actually a museum, I guess, where they were actually shot at. What do you think of this? Was it a false flag, real? What do you think about this? They say they're going after the death penalty. I believe they will get the death penalty. That is the federal government on the alleged assassin there. What do you guys think about that? And then we'll wrap up the show.
There's a lot of red flags. I don't know about false flags, but certainly a lot of red flags. Not the least of which is that term has been bandied about almost immediately after the event. But the number one thing to me was the fact that the man, allegedly a man, I don't know, I'm not a biologist, and I didn't ask him or her it, but they said free Palestine. And the reaction to that was far more concerning than the event that took place.
Netanyahu told us that free Palestine is translated through language into Heil Hitler, and so
right. That's why they're going with it now here in America. They wanted there were conservative talking heads, there were politicians, there were podcasters, Fox News types, pro Zionist MAGA folks that went balls to the wall saying, "Oh yes, if you are calling for violence, you're just as guilty for causing violence." And what is calling for violence? Oh, saying something as simple as free Palestine. So whether we can sit here and debate back and forth whether or not what that expression really means, but when you look at the vast majority of folks, particularly in America, and particularly like protesters in the colleges and the folks who are witnessing this take place on the social media feeds, when they adopt that slogan and they say free Palestine, I'm sorry, you cannot convince me that what they're really saying is we're saying free Palestine, but we're really saying kill Aardvarks. No, they're literally saying, hey, we want to see Palestine be a free country. And now they want to say, oh, that means you're a dirty terrorist. And I'm like, I'm so sick and tired of this hoops that they're trying to jump through to make anti-Semitic free speech protected by the Constitution illegal. And I have a problem with that because I'm American, not because I'm pro-Hamas. Thank you very much.
I do believe 100% it was a false flag. Redirect your attention, divert your eyes over here. I mean, if you just pop open a Bible that is at least 60 years old, and you look back in the index at the maps, that whole entire area, that whole entire region was Palestine. It's always been Palestine. So we've been conditioned and indoctrinated to believe in this fake false nation state. And as far as my belief in this false flag is that we've heard Trump. He's probably pushed no high law and anti-Semitism laws the most than any other president thus far, and I believe it's just ramping it up to punish and to go ahead and initiate these laws in full force. And if again, anti-Semitism laws are unconstitutional. It's a direct violation of your First Amendment. So when he goes off and says, "I am a constitutional president and I'm gonna uphold your rights," that is a direct violation of it. So I think people should question that more closely. And yeah, I mean, it's coming. So that's my thought.
It's your right as American, even though it's not. I don't agree with it. You can hate aardvarks. That's your right as American. Don't do violence against them, but you know what I mean.
Right.
So that's your right. But yeah, I believe they're going to use this incident to crack down and pass a bunch of unconstitutional hate speech laws and the like, and use it to further crack down on. And they're simultaneously getting their political enemies, because the large majority Free Palestine people are left wingers. And so they're going to go after them based on this and say that they're terrorist sympathizers akin to Nazis, which doesn't make any sense because, like I said, they're left wingers and they're totally they call everybody Nazis. I don't know if they even know what it means, but they're definitely not pro-Nazi and saying "Hey, hell Hitler." It's so off base. But I guess the large majority of America is so stupid with the fluoride and the like that they'll buy anything at this point. So we'll have to see how it all sorts out. And will a corrupt Supreme Court actually rule for the Constitution and throw all this garbage out, because it's clearly a violation of our rights? You can't make a protected class of aardvarks and say, well, any offense against them is now offense against God, and then therefore you deserve the death penalty. It's like, that's where all this is going, to that absurd level. You know what I mean?
Right. I agree. Well said.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on this Friday edition. We went over the 2-hour mark, but we did cover quite a bit there. Let me go to the channels real quickly. We'll go to the Odysee. A few people over there. John, shout out to you, John. Jaycon, shout out to you. What does he say? He said, I'm lonely. And they said, well, maybe it's because you have an anonymous account. You're unknown. He says, I tried to use a screen name and it does not identify me when I enter a message. You don't need to apologize, John. He's apologizing to the other chatter, Jaycon. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, Odysee has a lot of freaking bugs, a lot of glitches. So who freaking knows, man? Who even knows who's running Odysee at this point? But we're still putting out the show there. And so thank you for getting in the chat and tuning in. But John, the lively chat's on the Rumble. If you want to chat and have it be lively, it's on the Rumble. But thank you for tuning in on the Odysee. Over on the Rumble, there's quite a chat going on. Shout out to our regular listeners: Chloe, Highland, Karen, Gunther. Thank you guys for tuning in and keeping that chat lively. We're missing Denver today. And by the way, if you guys didn't miss at the beginning, I did email Barry again and still no word from him. This weekend, I'm going to try to find his phone number and call him. I did not call him as I said I would yesterday because I didn't have time to find his number, but it's in my email somewhere. We have like 100 emails back and forth. That's how our main form of communication. And so I thought that he would answer an email, and I'm now on like my third, fourth, or fifth email trying to check in on him and still no word back. But I will make the phone call once I find his number in my 100 emails, that it's somewhere there. I will do that search. So let's think about Barry and hope everything's going okay with him. But thank you guys for keeping that Rumble chat lively on this Friday. And thank you everybody for tuning in on the Rumble. The Bitchute, another platform with a lot of bugs, a lot of glitches, but they at least don't censor us or ban us, I don't think. Well, I know that we haven't been banned. Censorship, who knows? But we haven't been outright banned there. So shout out to Bitchute. And hopefully someday, some way they'll sort out the little bugs. My bug is we do a live stream and sometimes it just automatically uploads it once the data is rendered and processed. But then other times it just leaves it like stuck on live and never uploads it so you can do the on demand, playing it later after if you miss the live stream. And I don't know what it is. There's some bug in their system. Sometimes it automatically does it. Sometimes it doesn't. Like right now, I'm looking at 3 shows that are hung up, stuck on live. When I email them, they are very responsive. I'll give them that for being a small company. But it keeps happening over and over and over. I'm going to have to email them again and say, hey, there's 3 shows hung up here. Let them load. Something's going on their back end, some kind of bug. Anyway, shout out to Bitchute audience. We appreciate Bitchute. We appreciate their efforts, keeping it real, walking away from UK market because they don't want to deal with all that nonsense of their cybersecurity laws there. But they do have a lot of bugs. I understand it's a small company, and so we appreciate your efforts, Bitchute, and shout out to the audience over there. The YouTube, God only knows what goes on at YouTube. Are humans even running it? I think AI may be fully running YouTube at this point. Who knows? It's all programmed. We are growing slowly there, and still trying to work off our strike for violating community guidelines of using third-party content, they claim. But because I said that Animal Farm, the cartoon, was a documentary, they disagreed, and it was for educational purposes, and they disagreed on that and gave me that third-party content copyright strike on it. But anyway, that's on me as being a producer. I'll take personal responsibility for violating their community guidelines. Try not to let it happen again. And so we'll start up a campaign on YouTube again to get to the 1,000 subscribers that we need to reach all the tiers of monetization. And then whatever, we made the AI gods happy that we made our big comeback after being banned off of there. And so anyway, for whatever that's worth, shout out to the YouTube audience. Thank you guys for tuning in as we skirt the community guidelines and comply with the AI over there at Alphabet or YouTube or whoever the hell it is. Facebook, shout out to you guys. And then any last words, gentlemen, before we sign off this Friday broadcast?
Yeah, I was going to say, first of all, thank you for having me on. It's like I said, my fiance for many years. She's been tracking your work, and when I had told her that you were involved in the new California state movement, she automatically was able to identify who you were, and she thought it was pretty cool. So now I get to see front and center what you do and what you've been doing, and I appreciate your work. And then if it can't, just allow me to plug one, because I'm not a I don't care for subscriptions. I'm not again, high tier blue check mark. I'm not promoted, so the only way I can promote myself is this right here. So please follow me on X, Lightstalker, Yahoo Rises 82, and then support our space, our true grassroots space, Fearsome 5. We do that every Sunday around 7 o'clock, and then I do my own space on around Thursdays, the Bill Cooper anthology series on Thursdays. So appreciate you, and it was nice to meet you too, sir. And if you want to do this again, just let me know.
All right, Ruckus, final thoughts?
Nice to meet you, dude. I don't know, because it's so fun. It's something we talk about all the time. You're going to have to check this out. So I've been smoking off of this little, it's an e-vape thing, and it lights up. But check this out. It tells you how many puffs you have left and everything. 33.
That's good.
And it's 69 too. That's fun. Just thought I'd bring that up. Yeah, don't forget to check me out on X as well. I'm AC_wordslinger. I've been doing a lot of fun stuff on there lately, so definitely a way to keep tabs on me. And of course, please check out the website alternatecurrentradio.com, where you will find not only like Boiler Room, Sunday Wire, but also Daily Ruckus. And check it out, my most recent appearance on Weaponized News. So
you put what is that? Your ham radio?
So I made this using AI as the base image in the background, and then I added the weaponized news and the sticker on the side. This one, I made the AI try to make me what looked like an old-fashioned radio mixed with a television set, mixed with an ammo can. So I think it did a pretty cool job. And since I call it Roundabout Ruckus, I asked it to put a bunch of travel stickers on the side like it was a luggage. Remember, people used to do that back in the day. So I'll be making a new image like this every week. So if you're having trouble, I don't know which one of the episodes of Weaponized News Ruckus is on. I can't find it. And there's a million episodes of Weaponized News. Just go to alternatecurrentradio.com. You'll find it right there. Okay. And then, of course, if you go to X, you'll find me do cool stuff like this, where I asked AI, this is a true story. I did this morning on my phone. I asked the Google Gemini, I said, hey, write an original poem. And it wrote this badass poem. And I was reading it and I'm like, wow, it's almost like it's talking about itself. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to post this. And I said, why don't you draw a picture to go with it? And this is what the picture was that it made. So AI made a poem about itself, and then I guess a self-portrait. So if you want to check that out, go to my X. It's AC_wordslinger. This was a blast, Sam. Sorry I was all ill last Monday, but who knows? Maybe I'll be back again as early as Monday for my regular gig. And nice to meet you, sir. Very good stuff.
All right. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. And again, as always, everybody do your own research. Peace, love, and liberty. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Friday.